Hello and welcome everyone to this video. In this video, we'll be covering the topic of Protestantism and its effect on democracy. Here, we will be covering three main topics. How and why did Protestantism begin? What does it teach? And what ideas does it have that affects democracy? Now on to the video. Please enjoy. Hello, I'm Daffa Roihan. Before we talk about what Protestantism is, let's talk about its origins first. It originated in the 16th century, led by Martin Luther the Hammer Boy and John Calvin. In the late Middle Ages, the Catholic Church had immense power. It was very influential in the political situation of Western Europe. Religion had now become a very political thing. The separation of church and state wasn't even an idea, and if the Pope favored your kingdom, you were basically set for life. The need for the supremacy over the church led to the so-called Pope fights, which I won't mention in this video, but it is nonetheless extremely fascinating. Now, the main problem that these reformers had was that they wanted Jesus Christ to be the supreme moral teacher, not the church. They opposed the church's supremacy and its corruption, and they also opposed rituals such as indulgences because they felt that the Pope had no authority and that it had no foundation in the Gospels. All of these factors led to...
Stop! Hammer time! Go with the flow! It is...
After this, due to the printing press, the Bible was able to be translated and spread all across Europe, bringing with it the ideas of Protestantism. Now, you don't need to listen to what the church says about the Bible, you can read it yourself. Now, what exactly does Protestantism teach? For this, we go over to my friend Bramasto.
Hi guys, my name is Nixel. In my part, I am going to explain about what does Protestantism teach. It teaches you about love, as Jesus said, to love your God with all your heart, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself are the two most important things in life. Mark chapter 12 verse 28 to 34. Next, in Matthew chapter 22 verse 36 to 40, one of Jesus' disciples asked, "Which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus replied, "It's all about love." From the verse 39, Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." More about democracy related will be next explained by Bramasto.
Hi, my name is Bramasto, and now we shall talk about how Protestantism lead to secular democracy. So, after Hammerboy Martin Luther did the medieval equivalent of Ferdinand, they start criticizing the church more and more because the sales of indulgences, the multiple corruption, and the multiple political maneuvering and pope fights that they did lead to people feeling, oh my god, what the is happening to the church? Up to the point that many scholars even wrote many stories about condemning specific popes that were destroying the church. You have people like Dante Alighieri and also Voltaire. Now, after all of this, due to the fact that they introduced the Bible to be more available to the masses, it gives the masses the ability to essentially fact-check the church. And whenever the church says we are doing this because the Bible says so, they can easily say, no, the Bible didn't say that. You're just doing this out of greed and power and all those kind of things, which leads to more free thought, which inevitably lead to a divergence from Catholic doctrine because they believe that if the church is bad, then what about the things that the church has been saying? Now, with the expansion of free thought, that essentially redistributed the power back to the people, which is essentially democracy. And due to the fact that they start criticizing political leaders, that led to a need for a separation from church and state. But inevitably, the Reformation led to the Enlightenment, which furthered the concept of democracy, and the fact that a lot of people started diverging and becoming little sects of religion lead to the necessity of a freedom of religion so that people can follow whatever they want and not be persecuted and not be confined to needing to follow one specific monolithic figure, which then leads to the current world in which now most countries are rather secular in their democracy. The United States, France, Brazil, all of those are rather secular because they don't want the church to repeat the same thing that happened with the Catholic Church and imposing arbitrary rules and power merely because they have the quote-unquote moral high ground above everybody else. So that is how Protestantism inevitably led to secular democracy. Thank you and goodbye. Hope you enjoyed that.